Oh, hey, this is Moyukhinsweden and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, as the topic says, this video is all about upcoming rules and regulations in Sweden. What will be the future of migration and laws and regulations concerning the people watching my channel and more or less anyone it will apply on Sweden. So let's start from the beginning. I will try to start from the history. I will educate you something from the 1950s or 60s. It's basically about migration. So during the 1950s and 60s, the economy of Sweden was booming, and that is why they needed labor. So that is why they sought for workers. And these workers mostly came from Finland. And it was the time when the economy started booming. So, and this trend continued till 1970s or 80s when the economy started to deteriorate. And during that time, most of the Finnish workers had returned to their home country. And also, Sweden has been welcoming refugees since very beginning. During the Second World War, many Finnish children who arrived here on trains through trains, and some of them stayed here and some of them returned to Finland, but they faced many problems, like some of them forgot their language and some of them lost contact with their family. It's a different chapter. But what happened was, from the 70s, it was in the mid 70s, the Swedish government implemented multiculturalism. It was implemented in most of the Western countries, and so was the trend in Sweden. And this multiculturalism led to open borders, so anyone can come to this country. And the focus slowly shifted more towards the humanitarian migration, not towards the economic or high skilled people, or business was not at all cared at that time. But there are few entrepreneurs who made their fortunes by investing during those times. It's a different topic. But this thing continued from the 70s, more and more focus on the humanitarian side of immigration. I remember some Middle Eastern countries, those came then Africans, and those people were concerned. Now coming to my main audience, and which is the main crux of this video. Just couple of years earlier, if a person came here as a student on study visa, a guy or a girl who had less than 1 year course, study program less than 1 year, some courses are like that, and that time it was more, because at that time the 2 year permit was not given to most of the students. So what happened was, most of these people thought that they will do some part-time jobs here and they will get their tuition fee or living expenses through that, and also accumulate some Swedish work experience, part-time work experience. It helps in the later stages to get the job, build networks, and also it's a very good thing if one does that. Now, what was the problem? When they went to the employer that I need a job or apply, they wanted a coordination number. Now that person used to go to the start service to Skatteverket, and they used to tell you need a job to get a coordination number. So understand what was the situation of that person. Now, current day, it has been already the case, and I also got my coordination number as a job seeker. I didn't had a job at that time, but it is now the law that anyone who has a residence permit, who has more than 3 months permit or 3 months or more than 3 months permit, and will stay less than 1 year, will get a coordination number. He or she can apply himself, because previously it wasn't the case. The employer could apply. So this was a very welcoming move and very positive direction the country went, because if I would have landed here at that time, I would have landed in big trouble, because most of the jobs I could not send my application. First thing I am telling how it progressed. Now, another thing which worked very good in my favor, that is a couple of years ago, just 2 or 3 years ago, a sole trader business could not be opened with a coordination number. So that was also a big development. Now, a sole trader business can be opened with a coordination number. So here I come. What will be the next? So as everyone is aware, that a new government came into power in 2022. And now, see, after coming to power, government needs some time to implement the policies, because in a democratic system it takes time. And as Sweden is a democracy, it will take time, so it was obvious. But from the beginning, they focused on like reducing migration. That was the rhetoric from the beginning. And second was tough on crime. Third was like citizenship will be more difficult. PR there will be focus on language integration. So all these things were mentioned from the beginning in 2022 only, I think, which are found in the Tido agreement, which is the agreement which the government has, the coalition of moderate and and liberal who are in power, and the Sverige Demokraterna, the extreme right wing Sweden Democrats, who give them the outside support. So this is the current scenario, and now what will happen? So this year, from this year, the citizenship requirement will be, they will put the language as a requirement. Must the people who will apply for citizenship will have to have skills of Swedish language, which was not the case previously, and I never understood this thing. Like public money was spent on SFE and all, like making materials for people, then arranging classes and all. But if there is no requirement, I think people will not make the effort, and it is, I think, a waste of public money. So I think it's a welcoming move, no problem. And in future, they will make citizenship in 8 years, that a person will be eligible for applying for a Swedish citizenship if that person is residing here for 8 years. So currently the rule is 5 years in most cases. If a person is married with a Swedish citizen, I think, and the relationship is minimum 2 years, then only he or she can apply for the citizenship if he is total staying here for 3 years. But it will be 7 years for them, and 6 7, I am not sure about that, 6 or 7 for stateless people. I think it is fair, because a stateless person doesn't have citizenship in any country, so he or she faces problems, so a little bit leniency for them is okay. And in normal cases it will be 8 years instead of 5 years. So this is a big update. Now some updates which will benefit me, a sole trader businessman. Now what are these? These are very welcoming, I am telling you. See, previously the things we buy for our, like lot of tax deductions we will get from the purchases. So it is more easier to run a sole trader business here. In the future it will be, and it is now. Like I did some expenses in this while as a business person in order to get the tax things here. Because see, currently I don't have a residence permit, and I am taking the advantage of that. Because see, the only thing in when I will apply for extension or permanent residency, because for self-employment currently the rule is after 2 years only we can apply for a permanent resident permit. So if it gets approved, the first one, from that time the records will be counted for that. And I think and I am sure they don't require you to be profitable for 2 years. You can be profitable at the end of the 2 year. If you are not, They will give you 1 year or something. I'm aware of that very well. So this thing I am taking total loss, and next year also I have some leeway. So I think it will be more easier for me in the upcoming years to operate my business here. So it's a positive way these things are going. I think it is a welcoming thing for skilled people who are qualified and skilled people. So now what I am telling another thing like yeah, the next thing is about the low skilled people. It will be very hard. I am telling you, who are working in restaurants. These people have already faced problems. I have seen many people who move to other European countries, who move back to other countries because the salary requirement is hard to meet because the government is preferring the high skilled people. That's the reality. Okay, yeah, just a bit. So the other thing is, now some other things I'm telling. The It is the blue card. That is the blue card, which is the blue card is something which is EU blue card. It's a resident permit, a type of resident permit, which is for very high salaried individuals. And for that, a person is a job offer or a work contract. Work contract offers don't work now. Previously, offers were the requirement, but now you need a proper employment contract signed by the employee and the employer, the organization. So the blue card will be like it is for high salary people who have more than 50,000 salary per month. It's a very high salary. So previously it was a bit high, but it will be a bit low. So a few more people will qualify. Not way more, or it will be very easy. It is not that much. First of all, a person needs a job, that to that much salary, and it is not so easy to get that salary in Sweden. It is for very high skilled people who have lots of experience, and mostly they will be in engineering, IT, or these things. So I think it won't be applicable to most of the people. So these things I told, and now some things I am telling, like in the coming years it will be more emphasis given on integration, language learning. It has already been seen, like in some jobs they require Swedish language in IT now, because couple of years ago it was not a case. In IT, Swedish was hardly required, but now the focus is coming on. So I think more and more focus on integration, language learning will be there, and more focus is going to be on high skilled people and business, like sole trader business. Because what I like about the Swedish business mentality is that the government's mentality, I'm telling, that is the small businesses should grow. They want the small businesses to grow. So that is why they make these laws. They are making these laws in order to develop the small businesses to grow in the future, because they want the small entrepreneurs to make it big in the upcoming years. So I think it's a good step they are going, and I think it's in the positive direction. I think it will depend on whom you speak, but I think so. Now there are some problems, like the process is very slow here. It's a bureaucracy is very high here. Like if you apply for anything, it will take time. So these things will be the same, and getting a personal number is also a big issue here, because they need a resident card, and which is my problem today. Because as I don't have a resident card, I am staying here on my application. I'm waiting for the card to come. Then only I can apply. And most of the services they require a bank ID, so I can't avail those services. That's a big problem I have here. But I am hoping for the best and staying positive. I don't know whether I will stay alive tomorrow or not. And if I don't work, I think it won't be good for the society and my family. So if I focus on those things, it will be a waste of time. So I'm working on my way. If it doesn't happen, I will think that time. But right now, my focus is on what is in my hand. Okay. So I talked about some things here about the system, how it will change in the future. So I think the another update I am telling, the total number of resident permit issued has decreased a lot. Like the refugee, I saw a statistic in the 2016, it was more than 150,000 total applications, and this year the applications or grant is 20,000 or something less than. So it's a drastic reduction. And if you see, the work permit has increased because recently they reduced the timeline for highly skilled people processing, and which was not the case previously. They used to take 2 years or 2.5 years. So it was a big problem. So these things are good here. And I think the bus ticket has increased a lot, but it is not a problem for me because I use it in my business. So I get tax things from that. But share the update with you. Okay. And some other updates I have seen, like the government already gives some tax benefits if you install solar things on your roof. Then all these things are there. Like if you purchase an electric car, you will get some things, some tax things. So they care about environment, which are already now. These are already in place. So these things will be there. Okay. So I gave you a total history lesson from 1950s to 2025 and how it will be in the future according to me. Okay, and my prediction is migration will reduce, and if more people will come as skilled people, and I think some people will be deported also, like who are criminals and all these things will be deported, and this is a good thing for the society, I think. And I think there should be strict policies on crime because currently the policies are totally laughing stock totally. It's a reality here, like everything they see as personal freedom and all, and I think it is not a sensible thing like everything you will see as a personal freedom. Yes, see it, but everything is not like that. Anyone will do anything. It's a big problem. I think it's a mentality which some time ago these people made, but I think lot of policies were totally nonsensical previously. So overall, I think it's in a positive direction. So yeah, if you like my content and like my channel and interested in Sweden, Swedish culture and this beautiful land, hit the subscribe button and like this video if you find it helpful and informative, and share this with anyone who will do the same. Tack så mycket, hej då.